Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. How does the Hanafi school view marital intimacy in cases where the wife is reluctant? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. These are sensitive matters. We have to understand three things. The believer has values, right? Has values that drive them. Then they understand that as morally responsible servants of Allah, our relationships are based on rights and responsibilities that arise from our values, right? That we understand who we are, right, as servants of Allah. So we have certain governing values, right? That being servants of Allah, we obey the command of Allah. We have gratitude to Allah. We strive to do the good, right? We care about others, right? We see relationships as a blessing. We deal with people on the basis of love and mercy in general, but in the marital relationship. Allah tells us, وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. So we have beliefs, it would tell us who are we. From that arise values. Those values are then translated into a sense of what are my rights, and most importantly, what are my responsibilities as a believer. And my rights and responsibilities, I am told by Allah Most High and by His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as explained by the ulama of Islam. But we seek our rights and fulfill our responsibilities with adab, right? With proper manners. In the right way. That's what adab is. Adab is to do things in the right way. If someone, is hired as a cook, so I cook the food, but then you throw the pot onto the table and it splashes all over, or you make salad, when you throw the salad bowl, well, you made the salad, but there's also the right way of doing so. So that's the framework. The issue of marital intimacy, and then also we have to be aware that as believers, we have one of the tests of life is that what honors the believer is their intellect, right? That we are supposed to be people driven by religion and by the sound exercise of reason in making those choices that are pleasing to Allah in accordance with the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala towards the good of this life and the next. So when it comes to marital intimacy, this is, we are affected by all kinds of views of what marriage is, what relationships are, etc. But at one level, it's a very simple matter. That marriage is understood. That marriage has all kinds of aspects related to the wisdom of creation, to our belief itself, to our values, to proper manners. But when it comes to rights and responsibilities which govern human actions, when we get married, when we enter into marriage, this establishes a right for one spouse, whether the husband or the wife, to have marital relations, to have sexual relations with their spouse. And this right applies both to the man and to the woman. So if the woman says that, I would like to have sexual relations, the husband should not say no. If the woman and if the husband says that, it's not a courtship ritual, right? That, well, we have to have a loving dinner, then we have to do this, then this and this, and then if everything goes well, maybe we'll have relations. That's not how we understand it. Even though there has been a Hollywoodization, a Bollywoodization, a popular culture corruptionization of what relationships are. At one level, it's very straightforward. The husband has the right to marital intimacy, to sexual relations, and the wife has the right to sexual relations. The difference is, given the differing nature of desire between man and woman, the husband, both have this right, but the husband has the right to demand that immediately. The wife has the right to ask for it, but not of immediate demand. But neither should deny the other their sexual fulfillment. Doing so would be sinful. But there's a difference, the ulama tell us, between the right of demanding and forcing. Right? And that's where we stay away from other people's frameworks. They're not ours. Right? But this idea that, can the husband, like the wife refuses, can he rip off her clothes and impose himself on her? And right? One, if he does so, he's an idiot. Right? Straight up. He's an idiot, because there is no good outcome to doing something like that, in deen or in dunya. And what is driving that is nothing that is possibly pleasing to Allah. Right? So the difference between the right of insisting and and imposing himself aggressively on his wife. Right? If this does not work out, they have to try to resolve it amongst themselves, or seek consultation or counseling on how to address these matters. But this is a major, major issue around the world, right? So much so that I know one of the scholars in Damascus told his students that if you're under 35, just set a routine that 4 times a week there'll be sexual relations. Make a schedule and don't argue about it. Right? And sometimes you just have to be that practical. If there's underlying issues, they should be addressed. Wallahu subhanahu wa ta'ala alam. We have many resources related to this on Seeker's Guidance.
لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله